Hi, my name is Extreme Gnome. I'm unlocking the world of RuneScape one chunk at a time. To progress, I need to complete every single thing there is to do in my current chunks. Join me as we take on grinds the way they were never intended. Hi, and welcome to episode 4 in the Extreme One Chunk series. I hope you're all having a great day. Let's get right into it. Last episode, we finished off 3 big grinds: 87 fletching, 85 combat, and 72 agility. With these goals out of the way, we can roll for the first time since the 18th of December 2022. As you can see on the chunk picker, there's only 3 chunks to choose from. Let's not waste any time and see what the first roll is. And we rolled the western part of the Stronghold. Now, this is the exact reason why 72 agility was done in the previous chunk. Now, I don't have to waste another few hundred hours doing laps and can just tick off the chunk goals. With the shortcut taken care of, there's only one goal left, and that is a quick and easy achievement diary task to kill a terror bird in the bird pen to the west. We also have access to Brimstill's cave, but there are no current goals to be found in there. And with that done, we can immediately go on to the next chunk roll. Funnily enough, with our next roll, we even have less options. We can either go to the Tortoises in the north or leave the Stronghold through the gate in the south. And it would seem that after 5 months, we're finally able to leave the Gnome Stronghold. This chunk does not hold that much all in all. We only have the outpost all the way in the south that has no use for us just yet. There are also hobgoblins roaming around near the gate, and from those fellas we need to get 2 new best in slot items. The steel dagger for magic and the steel spear for best in slot DPS output. So let's get slaughtering. The steel dagger is a 1 in 42 and the spear a 1 in 64, so this shouldn't take all that long to complete. And there we have the steel dagger, only a few kills in. And that's the wrong type of spear, and that's the wrong type of steel weapon. And as predicted, this didn't take long at all. There is a spear in the same inventory, and with that, all our chunk goals are completed. Going back to the chunk picker and ticking off the goals, it's time for another chunk roll. There are 2 new available chunks. Let's see which one we get. And we get number 2, the chunk with the goblins and the hill giants. There's a whole other bunch of tasks popping up as well, but those are all backlogged as they are slayer locked in Neve's dungeon. The goals that remain are a red cape from goblins and a few items from hill giants. These items being an iron full helm, a giant key, a long bone, and a curve bone. The curve bone is by far the rarest with a 1 in 5013 drop rate. The long bone is a mere 1 in 400 and the key is a 1 in 128. I decided to go for the red cave first by killing the goblins near the gates to the Elflands. Funnily enough, there's a few unreachable monsters here. In the end, I could only focus on one available goblin, and after about 20 minutes the red cape was ours. First cape on the account. With the cape out of the way, it was time to dive into the hill giants and hunt that curve bone. With the melee stats already at around 70, I decided to take this grind as an opportunity to train ranged up, seeing as the ranging guild is not that far off. Getting a head start could prove to be very useful in the long run. The iron full helm and giant key came in pretty quickly, but the longbone only showed up after we got all the way up to 40 ranged. Now with only one goal remaining after such a short time, spirits were high. Now as explained in episode 3.5, I've stopped lamping Hunter at 16 and will now be lamping crafting to 10 to unlock bowstrings and the magic shortbow. And in typical chunk luck fashion, the curve bone was presented to us only about 2 hours after the longbone, and before we could even hit 50 range. With the hill giant KC still well under 1000, it's safe to say I got pretty lucky. Now, lucky or not, this means that this is another chunk completed and it's time to roll another one. And it would seem that we are going to the east. Alright, that is the combat training camp unlocked. Well, we can't enter it, that requires the Ardougne easy diary. This also means there's nothing else in this chunk, so let's just roll again. The path eastwards continues, it would seem, edging ever closer to Ardougne and the ranging guilds. There's only 2 small item goals in this chunk, namely the clue hunter boots and gloves. We can dig this up thanks to the spade spawn in Edmund's house in Ardougne that we can only barely enter. Now, with those 2 items obtained, it's back to the chunk picker, and things are getting pretty dangerous around these parts. Let's roll. And that chunk is corner content, so let's roll again and check it out in a minute. And the second roll goes to the Tortoise pen in the Stronghold. This means we have to hunt the perfect shell they drop. It's not a collection lock item, but an untracked unique that is included in the Extreme rule set. Let's quickly unlock and explore this corner content and then make our way over to the Tortoise pen. Let's not forget that with the spade from Edmund, we can now also start doing some farming. Now remember, farming is not a chunk goal that is put on passive, but we will train it as much as possible. Now, these big turtles are the biggest foes we faced so far. And what follows is an accurate display of the PVM skill set that I have as I work out how these work. The perfect shell is only dropped by the Tortoise with the riders, and they can attack you with all 3 combat styles. The initial plan was to range them so I could avoid taking melee damage, but as it turns out, flinching doesn't really work all that well and the major and ranger hit quite hard. So I turned my focus onto more DPS on my part and switched to melee, which turned out to be the correct decision. I killed them a lot faster and only ate 1 or 2 pizzas during the whole fight. This will be a pretty common sight since we don't have any Secateurs. Fun fact, the riders can actually aggro on other players if you are out of their line of sight. Maybe one way to down a hardcore Ironman somewhere. Now, their drop table isn't that interesting, so it was a pretty dull grind. And after just over 100 kills, the perfect shell finally revealed itself to us. With the loot on screen, that is another chunk finished, and the complete Gnome Stronghold is now unlocked for us to use. With another chunk done, it's time for another roll. And that is the first part of the Piscatoris Hunter area unlocked. As explained in episode 3.5, the entirety of the Hunter area is useless at the moment since we don't have Hunter equipment, Eagle's Peak or a pickaxe. So with a quick run through the chunk, it's time to roll again. And this roll brings us to, well, some very exciting corner content. This is peak content right here, a total of no less than 3 walkable tiles. You know what this means? It's time to roll again. And it would seem we keep going north, unlocking more of the Hunter locations. This will definitely be useful in the future, but for now this is nothing but free real estate. For good measure, we just have to make sure we unlock all the music tracks and walk around a bit to make sure we don't miss any item spawns that might have been forgotten on a chunk picker. Alright, with the chunk explored, let's go back to the chunk picker and have another roll. And that is the fishing guild unlocked. However, without fishing equipment, we have no way of entering. So this is free real estate chunk for now. I'm all the way on the other end, so let's roll again first and then go check it out. The biggest thing here is that now the ranging guild and thus 99 ranged is rollable. This is where it gets exciting. And this is why I stayed up here. That is the Piscatorius mine unlocked. What this means is that once we have a bronze or iron pickaxe, we'll have to grind 90 mining for shooting stars. Nothing else of importance in this chunk, so let's just roll again. And that is some more corner content. Let's just roll and then check it out later. And that is the Arizola and Moss Giant chunk unlocked. And this also means that the rolling streak has come to an end for now. With this chunk unlocked and the drops we can receive from Moss Giants, this means we have to get a magic level of 55 to cast high level alchemy. After doing some calculations, this will take an average of around 16 to 17,000 Moss Giant kills. With the ranging guild looming over us, I'll be doing this all with ranged, hoping to lamp Tinkrafting soon and get that magic short bow. For now though, a crossbow and bronze bolts are my best friends. This is also where we'll be ending this episode. A total of 15 chunk rolls in one episode. This will most likely be the most rolls we'll ever get in one episode. I hope you all enjoyed the video and have a wonderful day. Gnome out. Hi, thanks for watching. If you wish to support me, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also check out my fantasy novellas on Amazon, available both in ebook and paperback format. The first two parts of the Seven Realms saga are completed and I'm close to finishing part 3. If you enjoy magic, monsters and swords, make sure to check it out. Thanks, goodbye.